Welcome to the seminar on the Exile to Jesus, a timeline. We'll go here to our chart that we've done before, where we have all of the minor and major prophets in the Bible, and the kings of Israel, kings of Judah, and the prophets at the time of that king, like Uzziah, Isaiah, Amos, and Hosea. But now we're going to the three kings that will actually go into exile. And it begins basically with the good king Josiah. Now Josiah had at the end of Josiah, the beginning of Jeremiah's prophecy began. We just went through Zephaniah, and Josiah had sons, Jehoiahaz and Jehoiakim. Now, all four of these kings have different names. Jehoiahaz was called Shalom. Now, I'm not sure how he was renamed, but he was taken by Pharaoh Necho when Necho attacked Israel, and he took Jehoiahaz with him north up into Lebanon when Necho was going up to battle with the Assyrians against Nebuchadnezzar at the Battle of Carchemish, a famous battle on the Euphrates River. So Jehoiahaz was taken away, and Eliakim, the other son of Josiah, was made king by Pharaoh Necho. And Pharaoh Necho renamed him Jehoiakim. Now the other ones we'll go through next will be Jehoiachin, who is the son of Jehoiakim, and then Zedekiah. Jehoiakim, who we're at right now, basically had Jeremiah, the prophet, prophesying during his period of time, and the beginning of Daniel. It says where Daniel left in the exile. So we see these kings. That Jehoiakim will go into the exile, and Zedekiah. Jehoiakim. I have a picture here of somebody put together, which is sort of interesting. This is a picture of him burning the scroll that Jeremiah wrote and tearing it up and then burning it with Baruch. I think Baruch gave it to him through by the command of Jeremiah. So this is just somebody's picture. We don't know what he looks like, but it's nice to see that. And so Jehoiakim, he was 25 years old when he was made king, and he reigned for 11 years. Now his brother, another brother, Mattaniah, he was the one that was renamed Zedekiah, and he became king after Jehoiachin, the son of Jehoiakim, died. So we have, let's go back up to our graph, and so we have the two sons of, I think Jehoiahaz. It was the son of Josiah, but Jehoiahaz was the son of Josiah. And Jehoiakim and Mattaniah was the other brother, and he was renamed Zedekiah. So here we have all these people with two different names. Very confusing. Sort of one of the reasons why I decided to do this video seminar, to try to straighten it out. Not that I've got it all straightened out myself. It's hard to remember all these people, and when you go into the different prophecies, they jump around from one person to another. So Eliakim, or Jehoiachim, became the king, and it says that he was a wicked king, not like his father Josiah. It says that he poured out innocent blood and murdered people, had a desire for wealth, was his main reason for living, I suppose you could say. He didn't judge with equity the humble and the needy, took advantage of the people, and he didn't listen to God's prophets and God's word, and instead went after strange gods. So all these things we find him doing, and God sends Jeremiah to him. Now, Jehoiakim here, it has Daniel, but it just mentions that Daniel came at the time of Jehoiakim. He left Israel in the exiles. So he really didn't do any prophesying during Jehoiakim's time. Now, Pharaoh Necho, and it was in Egypt, of course, and he wanted to defeat the Babylonians who were attacking the Assyrian Empire. The Assyrian Empire was up north in Mesopotamia by the Euphrates River, between the Euphrates and the Tigris. Nineveh was the capital. And Pharaoh Necho went up to the Euphrates River to join with the Assyrians against Necho as he went through. He took Jehoiahaz up with him, and then he fought the battle and lost. Nebuchadnezzar defeated the Assyrians, and that was the end of the Assyrian Empire. Necho went back down to Egypt. And then Nebuchadnezzar came down, going towards Egypt, and he came against Jehoiakim, and he made him a vassal for 3 years. So basically, Jehoiakim was to tax the people and send it to Nebuchadnezzar. And now Nebuchadnezzar, of course, was the king of Babylon, which was in the southern part of the Mesopotamian rivers, down close was that to the Red Sea, I believe. And Nebuchadnezzar then went back, but Jehoiakim rebelled against Nebuchadnezzar. And so then either Nebuchadnezzar came back or his forces came back, and they captured Jehoiakim. He was already subject to them, so I'm sure they didn't have to, all they had to do is go in there and find him. And they took him back to Babylon, says in brass shackles, along with the temple articles, many of the temple articles, maybe the Ark of the Covenant. The end of Jehoiakim was predicted in Jeremiah 22:19, where it says, "As the burial of a donkey he shall be buried. Being scraped away, he shall be tossed beyond the gate of Jerusalem." And we have, during his period of time, in 2 Kings 23:34 to chapter 24, verse 5, where it talks about Pharaoh Necho giving rain to Jehoiakim, and Eliakim actually was his name, and he renamed him Jehoiakim. Then we go into 2 Chronicles 36, verses 4 to 8, and there's a short history of him being taken into Babylon. Now, Jeremiah 1, verse 3, it says that Jeremiah took place all 11 years of Jehoiakim. So Jeremiah was a prophet to Jehoiakim. Now, Jeremiah lasted even through the next 2 kings and a governor. And then in Jeremiah 25, the whole chapter, it talks about the prediction of Babylon coming from the north against Israel, and the cup of God's wrath being poured out against all the nations, which could be even a future portent. And then Jeremiah chapter 26, the whole chapter, Jeremiah prophesies against Jerusalem. And Jeremiah is arrested by Jehoiakim's officers. And Jehoiakim, it says, wanted to kill Jeremiah. But then he is taken away. Nebuchadnezzar sends the troops to get Jehoiakim because he's not paying the taxes. And they put him in bonds and collars. And it says, coming with bonds and collars with Babylon, coming and to work for Babylon. So that was in chapter 27. Then in chapter 35:1, during Jehoiakim's reign with Jeremiah, Jeremiah calls the Rechabites. And the Rechabites were a people that were not really Jews. They were like the Bedouin, sort of. And they didn't drink alcohol because of their father, Rechab. And Jeremiah set wine in front of them and told them to drink. And they says, oh, we can't drink. We've never drunk. I mean, our father, Rechab, told us not to ever drink, so we do not drink alcohol. And God had him do this because to show that Israel, I mean, this man who was not these people who were not Jews and not following the Lord, Kyrios, they were not following Kyrios, Eava, they were doing better by following their father than the Jews were in following God, condemning Israel's not following God, which I don't see them doing even today. Now, and so it continues then in Jeremiah, verse 36. Now, in between all these chapters, it goes to the last king, Zedekiah, and back and forth, and Jehoiakim. And we'll go through those places when we get to these next two kings. Now, in Jeremiah 45 is a small chapter about Baruch and the scroll. And in 36, before, Baruch reads the scroll that Jeremiah writes from God's, the curse that's going to happen and coming down, Babylon coming down from the north. And if the Jews gave themselves into the hands of Nebuchadnezzar and did what he said, then they would not be taken away. But if not, they would. And so Jehoiakim, as we see there, that picture is here. He's given the scroll by Baruch, and he tears it up with a knife and throws it into the fire. That is everything that we have given to us about this Jehoiakim, who is now taken away, dies apparently in Babylon. Our next video is going to be on Jehoiakim's son, Jehoiachin, and his original name was Jeconiah. So now, Eliakim was called Jehoiakim, and his brother, the first one, was Jehoiahaz, who became king after Josiah for a short period of time, 3 months, and he was called Shallum. And so Shallum, Jehoiahaz, he dies, and then Eliakim, his brother, renamed Jehoiakim, takes over the reign, and then Jehoiakim doesn't pay the taxes. He's taken to Babylon, and his son, Jeconiah, is taken, and he's renamed Jehoiachin. So we are going to go into Jeconiah next, also known as Jehoiachin. Hope you join us. Continue with these interesting time between the exile and Jesus.